Ken Richards here from Rock the Stage NYC here on YouTube and RPMVocalStudios.com on the web for voice lessons worldwide. Someone had asked if I'd make a video about tongue position and where it should be. Now it's fairly simple. The thing you want to remember the most about the position of the tongue is that you should try to keep it from retreating back into your mouth. This kind of where it goes back into your mouth, because what that does is the tongue is a really big muscle sitting inside your mouth there. It's the only muscle in the body, by the way, that is not covered by skin. So it has a wide range of movements. It can go up, down, side to side. You can, twirl it, stuff like that. It's not confined to trapped under skin. So it has a lot of movement. The problem is with singers, it can move around a lot, and we don't want it moving around a lot. We only want it really moving for when we articulate and need to make words. Other than that, it should be fairly relaxed and laying low and forward in the mouth there. Now, in terms of exercise sounds, it should be basically close your mouth and let it relax. That's where it should be sitting. You should feel it somewhat on the bottom teeth there. So when I'm doing something like, my tongue is low and flat. You'll see guys like Ken Tamplin talking about the tongue going, and pulling it up. He says that's because it brings the tongue away from the back of the throat and more of an open throat technique. The problem with that, though, is that lifting of the tongue, what that does is it actually pulls the larynx up. Because the bottom of the tongue is attached to the larynx. They're basically connected. So if you lift the larynx and pull it up and ball it, you're actually lifting and putting stress on the larynx. That's why we want it That's why you don't see any professional singers sing with the Ken Tamplin tongue. Ken says that was something he was taught. If that was taught to him by an Italian or bel canto or a classical teacher, I would like them to point to examples of professional opera singers who sing with a tongue like that. Because the general rule, so to speak, or the technique for tongue is it should be low and flat in the mouth. Because if it's forward, it's away from the back of the throat. If it's flat, you've got a lot of space between the top of the tongue and the roof of the mouth. So you're creating a very open pipe. By lifting the tongue up, you're actually closing the space between the top of the tongue and the roof of the mouth. You're actually shortening that space. So you're actually, the size of the resonance space inside your mouth is actually smaller. Then the sound has to pass around the sides of the tongue. It's just kind of a strange position. So you want to kind of, now, if you have a tongue that's unruly and wants to move back and forth in you, this is what you do. And I have another video, I'll link to it here, with this exercise, which is basically just stick your tongue forward. So you feel it on your bottom lip and do something. What that does is it helps lock the tongue in place and open the mouth and the back of the throat. It also somewhat forces you to compress your sound using more of your diaphragm, more of your core musculature, basically of your body, because it's kind of forcing you to keep your throat relaxed to the tongue forward. Then when you pretty much can go through it and your tongue isn't fighting you to retreat backwards, bring the tongue back in and do it with the tongue laying right behind your bottom teeth. And you're kind of forced to compress more with the body to get the sound out and keep the throat relaxed. This is what we do with tongue position. And watch for that. Now people say, well, if the tongue is down like that, well, how do I move it around, to articulate, to make words when I have to sing words? Well, the thing is what you're trying to do is first tame the tongue to get it to sit forward, so that as you sing, it's not going back on you. We're basically getting the brain to tell the tongue, sit forward. When you're not being used, sit forward. Because the tongue is not going to retreat on you as you're talking. It's not going to go back on you as you're singing. So that you don't have to worry about. The thing you have to worry about is when you're not using it or you're singing an open vowel. You know, like if I do like the word, say, like say. Say. I want that tongue, say, right here. I don't want it going, say. You hear how that sound changed? And it went back. Say. The sound got really thin and small because the tongue is retreating backwards and closing off that space in the back of the throat because you're pulling it backwards. We want to keep it forward so this space back here remains open. Say. We don't want that happening. So that's essentially what you want to do. When you're singing an open vowel, you want that tongue feeling like it's right there. That way, when you are using it to go up and down for speech, it's not getting in your way. Because the tongue is an unruly monster. So we have to be very careful to make sure that it doesn't go back on you when you sing open vowels. So that's just a nice quick video on tongue position and how you can kind of exercises that you can use or tongue position you can use to help you tell the tongue to stay forward and out of the way. Do not go for the Ken Tamplin lizard tongue thing. I have not found any reference in any book or manuscript dating back to like the 1600s that talks about the tongue being up in that kind of elevated, rounded position like that. So I don't know where he got that from or who taught it to him, but it's not part of the sort of singing technique lexicon. It's not part of the, I've never seen it in any book, so it's something uniquely, I guess, taught to him and that he uses. So I wouldn't take that as a thing to use all the time. It works for him because he's been doing it for 30+ years, so he's kind of gotten used to singing that way. But teaching beginners and stuff like that, I don't think that's really an appropriate thing to do with the tongue. You want to keep it flat and forward and out of the way. Okay, so the next time, this is subscribe to the channel. Please share this video wherever you like. Ask me questions below on this or anything about singing, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. Look at the links in here below in the description where you can get my vocal courses for just $50. Also to subscribe. Look me up for Skype lessons, please. Or if you're in the New York City area, look me up. You can take in-person lessons right here in the studios with me. So till next time, this is Kim Richards. Rock on, practice hard.